rooms. Who can show us her room? Who can talk about her room?
Yes, I can talk about it. Can I?
Yes, please. Can you show us, or is it hard?
I can't. It's not kind
Okay, just talk about it.
Okay. The amount of light or windows, actually the windows in front of me, it's good enough to depend on. Like, I can depend only on the light of the window.
Sound.
The sounds, actually, there's silence, but like a light sound of the AC, but you can't like really hear it. And then we have the decorations on the wall. Actually, the room I'm sitting, it's plain and simple wall, but usually the other rooms they have like a lot of decoration. But what I'm sitting now, it's like plain. I only have the library besides me.
Okay.
And then people in the room, it's only me. And then time of the day, it's 9:34.
Okay. Who else? Who can also participate, girls?
I can, miss.
Yes, Lujane, please.
The lights in the room, I have huge balcony doors in the room, so I think it's more than enough for the lights. The sounds, I also have a pigeon actually living in the balcony. She comes here and like leaves later.
What? Pigeons?
A pigeon. Yeah, a pigeon. She comes, drinks
Can you
water.
can you show us, Lujane? Or it's
I
hard?
don't think, miss.
It's okay.
The decorations on the walls, there is some paintings and a clock. People on the room, only me by myself. Time of the day, 9:35 a.m.
Okay. Other girls, please, girls, where are you?
Me, miss.
Yes, Dareen, can you show us?
Yes, there's two windows that the lighting is good. We can depend on, and there's two pictures of me and Dalia when we graduated KG.
Ah, really? I want to see this one.
Can you give me a second? I'll bring them and come.
Yes, go bring them and come. Other girls who may participate?
Can I?
Yes, please.
It's Layan, miss.
Yes, Leia.
For the amount of light, it's coming from my window, so it's good enough. And for the sounds, it's actually really quiet, only the sound of you guys talking. And the decorations on the wall, I just have a drawing my friend gave me 2 years ago. And the people in the room, none, only us. And the time of the day, it's 9:36 a.m.
Late. Okay, so if we go to page 153, Malak Wasim.
Yes, miss.
Read, please, Malak.
Which elders?
Yeah.
Which elders in your life have given you advice? A parent, grandparent, teacher, coach, or neighbor? What advice did they give you? Did you realize it was good advice at the time, or did it take some time before you appreciated? Have you followed the advice?
Yes. So, girls, please think of it and tell me, what is an advice you never forget? A piece of advice, as we can say. Who advised you? Who gave you advice for a lifetime?
Miss, I'm back.
Okay, Dareen, show me the pictures of
Miss, I
Dalia.
only did شيء بس اللي قالي لأنه لداليا it sticked إنه so
Okay,
hard to the wall.
show me yours.
This is me when I used to be young.
Oh.
There's also this one.
I love it. You are so pretty, Dareen, since you were young.
Thank you.
Okay, who wanted to tell me who advised her? And that is a lifetime advice?
Miss, can I say?
Yes, please.
Miss, one time my 7th grade teacher, she told me that the things we take in school, it's for lifetime, not for just quizzes and then that's it. And I still remember her words.
Yes, she's right. She's right. What else, girls? What's an advice that someone said to you and you never forget it?
Can I say, miss?
Yes, Lujane, please.
That it's better to try your hard to accept yourself and to be real with your flaws. over being perfect. Like being perfect in
Great,
everything is not the right thing. Just accept
great.
yourself and your flaws.
Accept yourself and be yourself and accept your flaws. Excellent, Yeljan. What else, girls?
Miss,
Can I say,
it's
Miss?
actually one of my like it's not from family. It's a group in a
Hmm?
band group. They told me to love myself and to don't give up and stay who you are.
Who's talking, girls? I'm sorry.
And Miss Liliane is talking, and
Lilian,
Miss
yes,
Lilian.
yes, Lilian. A band, they advise you to love yourself and be who you are.
Yeah.
yes, Miss, and also the same band that Liliane is talking about. They taught us how to speak ourselves and believe in
Who is
ourselves
that
no
band?
matter what. BTS.
Ah, great, great. You love them?
I love them a lot.
Yes. Who else,
Of
girls?
course.
Layan,
Can I say,
Layan,
Miss?
Lean.
Miss, can I say?
Yes, please.
Can I say,
Lana.
Miss?
Miss, it's actually an advice you gave us maybe a week or a couple of weeks ago about that you don't have to be perfect, at least you're trying. It's always on my mind. I loved it.
Great, Yana. What else, guys?
Can I say, Miss?
Yes, Fatima, please.
When once my grandfather said, like one of my friends, like she used to really hate me, but my grandfather, he told me that accept her by your heart. Don't be jealous from her. Maybe she is not trying to understand you. Once she will understand you, uh, she will accept you, or else she will go away.
Ah,
Like he said
and
that
what happened?
accept people by your heart.
Yes, yes. And she left or she what
No, she
happened?
stayed.
Okay. Okay, girls. So read the
Miss,
following
can I
words
say
of
one?
wisdom. Yes, please, Rina.
And I know that like right now it's like a really difficult time like growing up when you're a teenager to compare yourself to other people. But my dad told me the only way that you can actually grow and develop and grow as a person is to compare yourself to your previous self, not to other people. So you realize or you really scope out how much you've grown as a person.
Yes, yes, I love it. Compare yourself to the previous self, not to others. Great. Read the following words of wisdom, also called the proverb or aphorism by Abraham Lincoln. And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in the years. So paraphrase the meaning of the proverb in your own words. So write it here, girls. Write it and think of what does it mean. يعني silently, each one.
Miss,
Write
what?
it down. At in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It is the life in your years that count.
Miss, what are we supposed to write?
Analyze it. Tell me what do you think of it? How did you understand it?
Miss, what
Okay.
page?
Mm,
153.
Miss, do we tell you now or do we wait?
Yes,
Or
write it, and
do we
I'm
write?
waiting for other girls. Jumana, are you here, Jumana?
Yes, Miss.
What do you think of this saying by Abraham Lincoln? It is not. Do you have the book, Jumana?
Yes.
It's not the year in your life that count. It's the life in the years. Did you understand anything
Miss,
from it? Wait, Dareen. Jumana, did you understand?
Um,
It's okay if you don't get it. It's okay. Anyone can tell me?
Miss,
Dareen, yes?
yes, Miss. I think he meant like the years doesn't matter, but how you live your life matter.
Yes. So if you are 50 years old and you have done nothing in your life, no accomplishments, nothing. Huh? So you didn't go to parties, you didn't even enjoy your life. So it's not about, or not only parties, I mean any accomplishments or even parties. So what he wants to say, it doesn't matter how many years you've lived. It matters how you live them. Hmm?
Yes.
So read it, Jumana, and under it, read it. Lincoln's
Lincoln's words are made more impactful by the use of an
antithesis,
parallel, parallelism. Antithesis is a
rhetorical device.
rhetorical device in which two opposing ideas are put together in a sentence to achieve a contrasting effect. Parallelism is the use of similar grammatical structures within a sentence or paragraph. With a partner, discuss why an antithesis and parallelism are effective in proverbs and other types of writing. What are their purposes? Can you think of any other example of these
Yes, parallelism, girls. We took it previous year together when we said that we use the same grammatical structure. So I start in the speech the same. So if I start with the gerund, I keep using gerunds in a paragraph. Gerund, 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 gerund. This is the grammatical structure. This is the parallelism. In the antithesis, it is when, as he said here, not the years in your life, but the life in your years. This is what opposing. Okay, so the use of antithesis. Okay, so we turned on the page. We turned the page to 154. We'll just take what is it about. And as I said to you while preparing it, I had nice try. I'll share the presentation.
Miss,
Yes.
what's antithesis?
Antithesis is when I say atheistis, and anti is the opposite of it together. As he said here, it's not about the years. It's about the. Wait a minute, someone is in the lobby. It's not about the years. It's about how you live the years.
Thank you.
Welcome. Here is it. I'll share it with you. Tuesdays with Morrie. The story started. Okay, who is the author first? The author is Mitch Albom. Tuesdays with Morrie, an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lesson. A story started when Mitch Albom started to go and visit his professor in college. Ragad, are you here? Ragad? Jude? Dana? Dana Shaheen?
Yes, Miss.
Ragad or Dana? Dana?
Dana.
Read Dana the slide in front of you.
Miss, did you call me?
I called Ragad, Jude, and Dana.
Yes, I'm Jude.
Okay, Jude. Dana answered too?
Yes, Dana.
Yes, Dana.
Dana, read Dana.
Tuesday with Morrie is a memoir by American author Mitch Albom about a series of visits Albom made to his former sociology professor. The book topped the New York Times nonfiction bestsellers of 2000. An
unabridged
audiobook was also published, narrated by Albom. The appendix of the audiobook contains several minutes of excerpts from audio recordings that Albom made in his conversations with Squares before writing the book.
Schwartz. His name was Schwartz. Thank you. Jude, read Jude. Who is Mitch Albom?
Miss, are you sharing your screen?
Yes.
Miss, I can't see it.
Sign out and then sign in again, please.
Yes.
Yes, Ragad?
I'm sorry, I was in the bathroom.
Okay, Ragad, read ya Ragad. What about the author Mitch album?
Mitch Albom, born in New Jersey in 1958, Mitch Albom attended Brandeis University in
Massachusetts.
Where he received a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Sociology.
Sociology. It was at Brandeis that he met Morrie Quartz, about whom later wrote Tuesdays with Morrie. But before album became
Reacquainted.
With his old professor, life had led him in several different directions. After college, Albom, who had played music with several bands, sought to pursue a career in music. He enrolled in Boston's Berklee College of Music and worked in New York's music industry. Here he became interested in journalism and began writing articles for a weekly newspaper, the Queen's Tribune.
Yes, thank you. Jude, now can you see? Zina?
Yes, miss, but yeah.
You can see the PowerPoint?
Yes, miss.
Can you read, please? He was accepted.
He was accepted at Columbia University, where he earned a master's degree in
journalism.
Journalism, and later and not clear for
it is okay, Jude. It's okay, حبيبتي. Zina?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Zina, continue reading, Zina.
And later an MBA. Meanwhile, he paid off his student loans by working for a sports magazine and playing the piano. His sports writing landed him several jobs and as a reporter and a columnist. After Albom won the Associated Press Sports Editor Award in 1985, he landed a job with the Detroit Free Press.
Yes, so he became a journalist, girls, to write a column. Column is a column in a newspaper, and he became a reporter about sport. He was famous by his sports writing. Okay? Zina, 4 years later?
4 years later, he was also writing an opinion column about general life issues. When Albom heard that his old professor was terminally ill, he went to visit him. Visit every Tuesday. Their discussion on life and death and about how to live life to the fullest promoted an idea for a book, with the potential proceeds going to help pay Schwartz medical bills.
So what happens when Albom heard about that his professor in sociology college is terminally ill and he is dying? He started to go. He went once to visit him, and then they started to have a conversation that doesn't end, a discussion on life, death, about how to live life to the fullest, promoted an idea for a book. So he started to gather all what the professor says and put them in a book, Tuesdays with Morrie, with the potential proceeds going to help. With this money, it was for Schwartz medical bills, because he used to have expensive medicines, take expensive medicines. Thank you, Zaina. Ghada, continue. In 1997.
Yes, miss.
In 1997.
In 1997, 6 months after it was published, Tuesdays with Morrie became #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list. It has since been translated into over 42 languages. Albom followed his with another bestsellers, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, in 2004. In Heaven,
yes.
In 2004.
Yes. So here is an album when he went to visit his professor, Morrie Schwartz. Okay. I will show you a feature. Can you see the YouTube, girls?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Amazon's White Friday sale from 10 to 70% off from the 24th to the 30th of November.
The best-selling book Tuesdays with Morrie has inspired fans since its release 20 years ago. The book details soul-searching conversations between sports writer Mitch Albom and his dying former college professor, Morrie Schwartz. Albom has sold more than 15 million copies of the book in 45 languages. It inspired an award-winning television movie starring the late Jack Lemmon and Hank Azaria.
I just can't accept it. I don't want you to die. I guess I flunked the course, huh?
Death ends a life, not a relationship.
Author Mitch Albom is joining us now. Welcome.
Hi.
I've forgotten to Jack Lemmon.
Yeah, he was remarkable. It was really his last film, basically. Yeah.
What is it? I mean, you've been asked this 1,000 times that so resonates with people about this book.
I think most people in their life have had a teacher, and so that's sort of their Morrie. I have it's to me and just take out a picture of their grandfather or something, and they say, this is my Morrie, you know. And I think a lot of people are lost, like I was at that age, sort of saying, I'm going 1,000 miles an hour, and nothing seems to be really meaningful. And so they either relate to my character or Morrie's character.
But you know, it's so interesting that your book continues to thrive today. As Charlie said, 15 million sold so far and still selling. But in the beginning, nobody paid any attention to you, sports writer you.
Yeah, actually, we got rejected a whole lot of places in this city. I still get haunted when I land here. You know, they said you're a sports writer, it's depressing, nobody wants to read it.
Because what was your pitch? What were you saying?
I said, I'm spending time with a dying professor, and I'm really learning something about life, and I think it's important. And mainly, I wanted to pay his medical bills. That was the whole reason for writing it. It wasn't aimed to be a bestseller or anything like that. Morrie had terrible debt for dying for 2 years. I had the idea to try to help pay it off by writing a book, and had I not been doing that, I probably would have given up. There were so many people said no to it, but I kept pushing. We found one publisher a few weeks before he died, and they agreed to print it, and they printed 20,000 copies, and I thought I'd have them in the trunk of my car for the rest of my life, but it turned out to be something.
Was it an instant bestseller?
No. No, it was a slow sort of build. People, it was in the old days when people would read and hand it to somebody, and then a nice woman named Oprah Winfrey had me come on for just 5 minutes at the end of her show. She didn't make a book pick or anything like that. And
that changed it?
That began the big rise up for it, I think.
She loved that book. I remember that.
And a younger generation is finding this book, too.
I'm astounded. You know, there's so many children that it's taught in schools around the world, in Japan and in Australia. And I always try to understand, well, how does that relate to it? I think because, you know, like Morrie said to me once, I wasn't the only person to visit him, and people would go and try to cheer him up, but then he'd flip it on them, and he'd ask them about their divorce or their, you know, and they'd be crying when they came out, and they said, I tried to cheer him up, but he was cheering me up. And I said, why do you do that? He said, well, why would I take from people who want to just give me sympathy? Giving makes me feel like I'm living. And I never forgot that. That's like a profound sentence, and it also rhymes. And I think a lot of people relate to that, including young people. They understand that, you know, actually, if you give out more in a relationship, you get more.
And then all these years later, though, you said once again it happened to you. You adopted a little girl from Haiti. That years later you said, it's happened to me again. I have to watch somebody who I love die.
Well, that was
She's a little girl.
Yeah, that was sort of ironic. Nearly 20 years, almost to the month, that I reconnected with Morrie. I have an orphanage in Haiti. We have 40 kids, and one of our little girls, her name was Chica, developed a brain tumor, DIPG, and I brought her up hoping to just do a quick surgery and maybe get her back, and she ended up living with us for 2 years. And we went around the world trying to save her, and she passed away 4 weeks ago today. And you were very kind because I was supposed to do your show that
remember.
week.
But you said you never felt so alive, Mitch. I thought that was interesting.
Well, because, you know, trying to teach her all of a sudden, trying to keep her alive, you realize it's precious, the time that you have left. Same thing with Morrie. And when you realize, Morrie used to say, keep a little bird on your shoulder and ask it every day, is today the day I die? And be prepared for it to say one day, yes, it is. And when it says, yes, it is, are you ready? And thinking like that, like any day could be the last day, well, that's what my wife and I did with Chica every day. And so you are intensely there, and you never really feel that alive.
You have 9 charities, nonprofit charities?
In Detroit, yeah. and the orphanage in Haiti, which I go to every month. Which was also something that Morrie kind of taught me. He used to tease me, said, "What do you do for your community?" I said, "Charities." I said, "I write checks." He said, "Anybody can write a check. You have a voice. You need to share it."
That's why giving is living, Mitch.
Yeah.
Legacy continues today. Thank you. Really good to see you. Very sorry about your little girl. Thank you.
Giving is living.
Assalamu alaikum.
You got the idea, girls, of giving is living?
Yes.
So what have you learned about Mitch? Grade 10.
That he first tried to publish the book, but he was rejected many times. But then after many years, they became publishing for more than 1 million, and the people started to act like he's like characters, like there are Morrie and there are Mitch and so on.
Yes. And even there was a movie for Tuesdays with Morrie. Let's share it. Here is it, Tuesdays. I love literature, girls. Here is it, a movie. Can you watch it? Can you see PowerPoint, YouTube?
Yes.
To be a bestseller for over 2 years, a story has to really connect with people. And Tuesdays with Morrie resonates with everybody. I think we all relate to Mitch. His life is just going by too quickly. And then he was blessed to stop and find his old teacher, Morrie. And even though Morrie was dying, he taught us about living. All of life is about teaching and learning. When you learn, teach, when you get, give. And life is filled with Morries. We all just need to look around.
This was Oprah Winfrey, the presenter that was the reason behind the success of the Tuesdays with Morrie. Okay? She presented, are you with me, girls?
Yes.
She presented the book in her program, and she presented the movie. Oprah Winfrey is a very famous American woman. Okay? Here it is, the whole movie. The whole movie is there on YouTube. You can watch it. This is the trailer.
A high-profile sports journalist learns that his old college professor
I'm on the last great journey here, one we all got to take.
is seriously ill.
Made a really big difference in my life and never even thanked him.
You could still go see him.
It's in Boston. When am I going to find time to go to Boston?
Deciding to say one last goodbye.
I can't work. I can't even think here. I got to do something.
He leaves work
I don't get a hug after 16 years.
I'm so glad you came back. You were one of his favorites.
to pick up where they left off.
I still got time to learn and time to teach my final course.
About dying.
Not about dying, about living.
With only a short time left.
When you know how to die, you know how to live.
And problems at home.
I can't just keep going on like this, waiting for you to fit me in. I gotta just think about what I want.
I want you on the road, Mitch.
I can't be with you anymore. I'm sorry.
They begin their final lesson.
Dying is just one thing to be sad about. Living unhappily, that's another matter.
How can you just blow in and expect me to come back into your life as though nothing's happened?
Realizing his mistakes.
It's about this fear that I had of not just giving love, but receiving it.
Maybe my wisdom isn't what you need.
He gets a second chance
Whatever Morrie did that made you write that letter, I want to see for myself.
to make things right.
The ring that you gave me was beautiful.
But you gave it back to me.
I want you to give it to me again. I'd like for you to do it in person.
Carlton America in the emotional true story.
We must
journey.
Don't you understand? You touched me.
That changed another man's life.
I don't want you to die.
Death ends a life, not a relationship.
Starring Jack Lemmon of My Fellow Americans and Grumpy Old Men, and Hank Azaria of Mystery Men and Godzilla.
I'm gonna come back next Tuesday, okay?
Of course, next Tuesday. We're Tuesday people.
Tuesdays with Morrie.
Hello, girls, we're back. So what we will take is an excerpt from Tuesdays with Morrie. Are you interested? Are you interested to know?
Yes.
Yes, he gave him advice about life and the clouds, the Zach Seven that I just showed you, the one who sang the song, the one who had cancer.
Yes.
I just told you about, and this man, Schwartz, the professor, both were dying. So when a person is so close to death, he starts to see life with its with a vision of that you have to live it. The things that we take for granted, as Zach said, the things that people take for granted, other people dream of having them. So a normal day, a very normal day that you wake up in the morning, you have classes and that's it. That others might dream of having one day of that, of these days. So people who are close to death appreciate days, appreciate life more. They understand the reason of life. Why are we alive, girls? I would like to hear your answers. Why are we alive?
To live our lives, to be happy.
I think each one on earth, like they were born to have a like for a specific purpose.
Yes. Yes.
So,
So yes.
Yeah, each one was born for a specific purpose.
Yes.
To dream and follow our dreams.
Yes. Let's agree that in the first place we are all have been born in order to worship our gods. Allah and after that we have been given a life, we've been given days, we've been given years. We have to take advantage of these years and we have to take advantage of this life. Live it to the maximum. But don't do things to regret later. So when you grow up, you do not say to yourself, how did I do that? I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Right?
Miss, but when you do something, then you grow up a couple of years later, you know that you've learned something from it, so why would you regret it?
Yes, Elena?
Yes.
You know what, Elena? You speak my mind, because yesterday before I sleep, I thought of something happened to me like 5-6 years ago, and I was too blind to notice. And I was with people, and I love them a lot, and anyway, I couldn't see that they were not real. Anyway, so yesterday before I sleep, I was speaking to myself. I said to myself, how didn't I notice? And then I said to myself the sentence that you've just said. I said to myself, at least I learned. Yes, it took me many years.
I had the same problem, the same exact thing happened to me, and I never regret that we were very close and I told her everything about myself. I don't regret it. I still don't, because it's fine and we lose people and we gain other people's trust. It's okay for me.
Maybe it's up to age, because I'm too much older. So I felt like I've wasted many years for people. They didn't deserve that. But I said to myself at the end, at least I learned. Maybe I learned the lesson too late. It took me time, it took me years, but at least I learned.
Yes.
And Allah rewards me at the end. Alhamdulillah, they are not close to me anymore. But anyway, yes, you're right. At the end, we take a lesson.
Yes.
Okay, girls, I love talking to you. Yalla, go to your break. See you tomorrow.
Yes, bye.
Bye, guys.
See you tomorrow. Have a nice day,
Guys.
miss. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, miss.
Bye, man.